All the cats are just lovely. Good music, along with everything else.
One more time in the music, please.
Mr. Estelle.
We don't want to make a web show. We do on the Monday night show.
Oh, I didn't know.
Got it.
Thank you.
You were like,
Well, we just wanted to make a movie about American identity and kind of take a snapshot of where we are now as a country and you know, take a look at where we've come from, where we are, and where we're going. And this seemed like a really good story to do that. And more than that, we wanted just every character to feel very real, feel like people that you would recognize from your own life. None of them are one-dimensional. They all are doing what they're doing for good reasons, and they're all just trying to make their way the best they can. And that seemed like a really nice thing to talk about.
Well, the heart of it, I had the idea about 2 years ago, and I wanted to do a movie about American identity. And I guess it probably came from my dad. Grew up in a small steel mill town just outside of Pittsburgh, and his dad worked 3 jobs and he didn't have much. And so I remember being a little kid being like, "So your childhood was awful?" And he was like, "No, it was actually incredible. We had family, friends, and the faith that tomorrow was going to be a better day." And I just thought that pure ideal was something that we should gravitate towards, and I feel like we moved away from it a little bit as a country. So that's the things we wanted to tell a story about people who are being affected nowadays rather than the people who we make a lot of noise for who are being elected.
I mean, certainly there was effort to try and capture a rural community of which I had limited exposure to, like being more of a suburban kid or city kid. But I did have a few moments like living in the country, and I was just using my sort of visual experience doing that. Yeah, they did an amazing job. Matt and John did an amazing job constructing this very entertaining screenplay.
The happiest days of my youth were spent on a farm in Connecticut. By far the happiest days I ever had in the summers when I was a boy and I was barefoot all summer. And we lived off the land. We went into Putnam once a week and got some flour and sugar, and that's it. Everything else we lived off the land.
Well, I really was just impressed with the boys for the scope of it, for how much they seem to care about what happens in this country, and I was really touched by the idea of what can be accomplished when a community comes together and how different that is when we consider our neighbors than just moving from a place of self-interest, and I was really moved by that. I rehearsed with those guys one day, and it was really amazing to see when a new idea would come from one of them. It was almost like they were sharing the same brain. Within about 5 seconds, you couldn't remember who had the idea because they would just start riffing and going back and forth. There was kind of a beautiful partnership.
Surrounded by this great story of people and how they come together and how they gather information and their minds are changed, and it was just the characters were really, really rich and beautifully realized.
Huh.